So, it's gonna be a smidge different. There it is. There. Okay. Keep trying to remember to do everything, and there's some stuff I just flat out forget to do. I'll get better at it, I promise. So today I'm gonna work at filling out the background. I'm gonna try and get the and like work my way up. Is what I'm gonna try and do. And I did a decent job color shading these, but it's slightly the wrong tone on her legs. They need, according to the picture up here, they need to be slightly more orange, for lack of a better word. Because, yeah, the tone, the shading is good, but it's the wrong color. So I'm gonna get back to that. Alright. Trying a little bit different of a setup too, so bear with me. Work out some of the kinks. Okay, so let's start with let's start with a pot here. That's a pretty simple, hard to get wrong aspect. And I'm going to be shifting back to this one for today. Wait a sec. Just trying to get these paint flakes out of here. They cause problems every so often. Pretty sure that should be the close enough color. At the very least, that's a good base one to work with. Alright, so yeah, I'm looking at this cauldron, the pot or whatnot. It does brighten up some, but I think it might be just the tiniest bit of this guy instead of a white. Oh, there probably is some white there too. Where is it? Let's go with that. Then try mixing it as we go. Alright. Now, as I see it, just gonna try and like fill it in for the most part and see where we go from there. Because it's and it's kind of interesting. I've been working on these painting for a while now. I'm getting pretty decent at it. A lot better than I thought I would be. And I can actually see a bit of progress among it all. But yeah, it just, I don't know, it's interesting seeing the the progress, and actually seeing some of it, as opposed to kind of going, I think I'm doing okay. Some of my other projects. This needs to be a bit thinner, so I'm gonna wear that one down a bit. Yeah, that's not quite as wide as it sets up to be. Alright. Now I'm also working with the base layer here, so because right about here is a very bright lit up spot. I'm going to paint over it. Its base color to get that, I think. But I'm going to try anyway. Yeah, indeed. Douglin has craft PvP 42. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Sitting here painting, and not quite sure what you're saying there. Yeah, goose. You'll have to explain a bit more for me, please. Alright, so that's not too bad. Starting to dry up a bit. Cauldron's looking alright. Alright, so alright, so yeah, let's see if I can get a mixed color in here. It looks like the cauldron bit right here, it's got, I don't know, it's just a slight highlight. Well, I could work it into place, so let's go with that. Alright. Not you. You, this guy. Okay. Alright, so I got like 3 references here I'm trying to work with. For the paper reference here, which didn't turn out right, the one on the screen, I'm using for most of it. It's difficult getting the colors just right. Okay, so this one is about here. Let's go with you. And that's nothing. That is straight up nothing. I needed a much lighter color. Much lighter. Let's just keep going. Still figuring out how some of these tones work, or these shades. Still not entirely sure what the exact wording for it which should be. That's probably still much too dark. Yeah. Like that. There. This is a bit of an oddity. It's kind of like a straight on shot, so it looks a little odd. I'm not quite used to this perspective type here. And we've got the next one right here. And then just keep going, keep going. Little brush strokes, little continuations. Alright. But what kind of... This is still wrong. I hate that. Maybe I should be using a white? Maybe tossing an orange. I'll try and get that, It's not horrible, but it's not right. I think it might be an in-between layer. And there is actually some patchwork lighting coming from the bottom there. What to do, what to do, what to do. Whatever. Let's toss in some white. See if that'll clean up some of it. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Alright. But let's keep trying. Keep experimenting, keep trying to learn what aspects I'm picking up from this one. This one goes... that's... Well... Not quite, oh. Yeah. This goes right about here. I need a little more. A little more base here. Okay. Down to there. There's a rock or some such. It's the bench. It's the bench. And it comes out. Okay, so we've got. Give me a sec. Comes out like that. This comes down a bit. Goes that. I can't reach that area there. So this part, second line. Here we go like so, and then back down. Level with that corner there. For some reason it's a bit lower or wider to about here, down there, and that is the bench she's sitting on. Alright, and then here. About here is where the fire takes in, and about here is where the bottom of the pot is, or the cauldron, or whatever you want to call it. Alright, so about here is where the other line goes a little bit further bit higher up. Right, so it should be about there for the next one. We'll call that one good. Okay. Needed a bit more direction on where this was going. All right. Shift gears, shift gears. Yeah. Just to finish that off. Oh, missed that. It's not flat. It's not flat up here. So I'm gonna try and fill this in some. Still, oh, I don't quite get it. Maybe we can shift back to it. Okay. Come on, stay up. There we are. So I'm going to try and start actually with the fire this time. With the light source. A bit more seen. Oop. Alright. So, just so I can see it, visualize it better. So I've got the corner bit here, and actually there's very little on the, use that again. Just get this off the side here. Alright. So I've got fire along here, and then the second one right here, goes up to about here, and this is actually way the hell over here, you can't even really see that aspect. Alright. Nope. Why is that? That's very wrong. That's very, very wrong. Here is the turn from the corner. That goes actually much further. This goes something like that, perhaps. Okay. And then here, and I think a little bit wider, like that. Followed by decent space, so a bit further away, and another wider bit. Actually, no, the first one I had here was a good size, and then from there up and over. But this should be the edge of the painting, but I'm not reaching it. Why am I not reaching it? Probably because I got the polygon too wide. We'll see. Change it up. Get it simple enough. Okay. So now I'm trying to get a fire color, which needs, looks like a deep orange, bright yellow, and a white. I guess I can start with a white. Yeah, I'm getting really bad at looking at my brushes. Shift it up. Yeah, I gotta fix that up before it becomes a problem. Alright, so let's work with the fire, work our way up. Maybe I probably shouldn't have started today off with one of the harder subjects, but it is what it is. Very good. Let's go with you. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna sip. Well, we could get it with a base white color. But that would be the bottom lower aspects. Here, I'm gonna, since I'm working at like the bottom here, I'll move that up for you. Alright. There is a very white, it's more of a yellow highlight right here. Alright, I'm working mostly with reference points here. And this guy has white here. That about is it for anything white. Close together. Okay, so, and it's a, I think I could maybe, I think I could work with this yellow. Probably a bit too green. No, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, so we've got you. There's orange. This is the wrong kind. But yeah, it's definitely the wrong kind. But I could try maybe cleaning it up with a red. I don't quite have. Oh, I got brown. I've got you. Okay, I'm just gonna toss colors down here and see what I got to make fire. I have made fire. Not you. Let's try you. I think you might be what we gotta go with. But very, 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 very light colors. I've got you, but I don't think you're the right one. Yeah, no, you're not the right one. That's what I've got for red. I don't have fire colors. I don't have. I'm trying to get a very deep orange, which I don't have. I'm gonna have to make. I love that color, but I don't have that color. So how do I go about this? How do I go about this? So I want a redder yellow than this, but not as dark as this. So let's work with that. I think this yellow might be the color, the key. Okay, so we got you. Okay, let's work with. I need it to be just the tiniest bit orange. Let's see what this does. Let's see what orange actually does to it. Not horrible. Maybe. It's really bright. That might. Let's test it out. So not quite. But not horribly off that. Let's use this as the base color. This is the base color for the fire. Okay. Base color. Alright. Alright. It's wrong. Okay. Gotta let that dry before I can keep adding more layers to it. So, you know what? Shift gears. I've got twice. Hello, welcome. It's going. Trying to get like this coloring here right, but it's not working out. I don't have fire colors, so I'm trying to make it with base yellow and bright orange, which it's having trouble with getting the colors mixed right. But it goes. Alright, so let's shift gears. Oh, also, base coat. Yeah, I'm working on it, but it's also wet and drying, so I'm gonna shift that elsewhere. Also, I'm shifting back to this palette again because my experiment didn't work out. This was the palette I used last time, the clear bit, but as you can see, it's very, very cloudy now because I had to scrub the paint off. It didn't come off as easily as it does here. So that didn't quite work out, but I like the idea. I really do like the idea. I want to try it again, but it's gonna have to be something else. I'm thinking maybe glass might work better, which could be an interesting way to go about it. I think I might look into that today. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so let's start with, you know what? Let's go with that. That might work out. Okay. No, actually, that's a bad idea. Not you. Okay. Let's take my finger and paint. Yay. Alright. Let's go with you. The color. And go right here. Let's work with the colors. Alright, there. Yes, I did look at the transforming D-pad. I watched the video, but I saw how it worked, and it makes sense now, but I'm not sure why one would go about doing that. It seems an odd function to be able to twist the D-pad like that. What does it do? One video said it helps out a bit, but I don't see particularly how. What aspect does it help with? I think part of the issue was I was thinking of a D-pad like this, where there is no twisting. It doesn't work like that. But then I saw that it was a 360 controller, and it made a little bit more sense. Still questionable stuff. Alright, Yeah, it's kind of cool, but I don't see what it does, if I'm being honest here. Unless you're just shifting it to maybe on the transformer. All right. Well, there's my question. Long as if using it like an old school D-pad, it is a D-pad, isn't it? Because a D-pad, you push the button, you push the button, you push the button, you push the button. It what aspect is not like an old school D-pad? It just is. It is the way it is. I see that's the part I don't get. What? Well, let me this way. What isn't like an old school D-pad about that? What am I missing? And yeah, just putting on their transformer is kind of cool and all, but what am I missing? What isn't like a D-pad on there? Is it maybe an Xbox is just different? Yeah, I'm still a bit kind of unsure about it. Oh, does the Xbox have like just more sensitivity to it and like less like a just fill this all the way in. Okay, I guess it's just a smoother transition then, with by default, and then the transformation aspect limited a bit, so it's not as it's the same okay, so it's just by default closer to an analog stick than a D-pad, and that transformation thing turns it into, it limits it to its, so it's more normal. Alright, I guess I can see that. But in my most of my knowledge in D-pads is they're all pretty much the same. The only difference is the position on the controller. Okay, I can see that, I guess, I think. Yeah, but especially with like those fighting game things, those I've never been overly good at a fighting game. It's all those quarter turn, half turn, quarter zigzag, whatever the hell they are. It's like too much to remember. I couldn't ever. The Z turn was one I never got quite right. It showed it goes from center to right to down center and back up, and I'd always try that and it never worked. It was years later that apparently the Z thing is apparently quarter turn twice or some such, which doesn't make sense, especially when they have no notation for any of it. Just here, you do this. What is this? Oh, it's been a bit of a frustration of mine. One of the reasons I never got too into fighting games. The other reason I never got too into fighting games is because of all the try-hard competitive shit. I'd play the game casually, personally. So well, they may be easy, but they're not explained, and I'd have to have somebody who knows how to do it tell me how to do it, as opposed to me being able to figure it out. Is one of the issues. And the combos can be relatively easy, but nothing is explained. So that's okay. So let's and you. So let's go big here. A little small touch up here, and there we are. It's probably really hard to see and not all that interesting, but it's small little details that kind of matter to me. This little rockstone bench here. Alright, there we are. But yeah, the fighting game I grew up with was Street Fighter. That was, I think, the first one I worked with. I think another one I played with when I was a kid was one called, I think, Primal Rage. You played as a monkey, giant raptor, a couple other things, but those are the ones I remember. One of the things I remember about that game was really weird. You're basically playing as giant monsters in like King Kong land or something, and one of the things I remember was it was like in the jungle or whatever, and you could pick up and like they had tiny little people on the bottom of the screen. They were like really tiny, but you could like mess with them with some of the attacks and whatnot. I think I didn't get any good at it. It was just like me and my brother dinking around with it. But that was it. I guess you could also count maybe Claymation, Clay Fighter, but that one I remember even less. We had like snowman, rabbit, I think some opera lady, an Elvis guy. I could not tell you anything about what they did, but I can tell you just some of those characters. It was okay, it wasn't really anything superb, but it was a thing, something I remember. It wasn't until I got into Soul Calibur that I got... shit. I hate these cups. Yeah, I apparently got a, shit, don't do like that. Too many times now I've spilled because of these stupid cups. Absolutely stupid cups. That's one of these red party cups. I'm keeping my stuff in. I need a better way to use these. Something better. They're very light, they're very top heavy, and they just tip over. Yeah. But yeah, I started Soul Calibur was when I got really interested. Well, at least Soul Calibur 2 was when I got a fascination with some fight games. And even then I didn't learn much. I learned a fair amount of cheap moves and then proceeded to abuse the AI to death with it. That was also a game that worked with on the other side too. I need to work on that. Give me a sec. Focus on about. So yeah, your bowl. The bottle, so it goes about here, and spreads out. Okay. But yeah, Street Fighter was interesting. I like a lot of the character designs, honestly. And like, the more I think about it, the more cheap characters I was using for everything. Probably because they had like adventure mode. I think it was like Journey of the Soul or some bullshit. And you just sit there and like fight increasing more difficult and cheap opponents. And you learn to either get good at the game or fudge it really, really well. Ring outs being a particularly easy way to cheese things. You are, and I guess a bit more you. Well, let's work with this and get two of them there. But yeah, it's I just never got into it. I guess the closest I got into really enjoying a fighting game was probably Smash Bros, which a lot of people do not classify as a fight game, but it actually kind of is. It's not a traditional beat the health bar down fighting game, so in that sense it's not, but I think it is one, especially at the higher levels. It can be just as competitive and technical in fighting games. Because some people pull off some like amazingly bizarre, crazy shit in there. That one's a bit higher, actually. It's very odd. Well, it's a stone bench, so I guess it doesn't quite matter much. But I'm noticing a odd discrepancy here. This line here is kind of going like this, while this line here is the edge, so I'm gonna guess it's just a odd little, well, maybe it's just, oh, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, so let's go you and you, come out, let's mix it up for a bit more yellow. It's probably a bit too much yellow. Alright, so yeah, it's fighting games have always been just, I've always been a casual player of them. but that doesn't seem to translate very well to the fighting scene. Um, that's what I'm missing. Try a bit of white in here. I guess I always have been kind of a casual gamer for most things anyway. Give me a sec. I think the only time I've ever been kind of like try hard, lack of a better term, or committed to the game is for like platforming or collectibles where you just sit there and like 100% the map and such. Yeah, that's actually a little too dark. It needs a little bit bright up. Yeah, and it's I will admit I fully respect competitive fighters. The skill and technical know-how and dedication to get to some of those levels, just absolutely mind-blowing with like what they have to go through. But that's more than I'm willing to put into a game, especially one I can't fully appreciate myself. Not in terms of, why is this not coming out right? Not in terms of enjoyment, but one of the other aspects is one, I didn't have too many friends who were also interested in it. They were similar platformer and or odd game type stuff, so they weren't as interested in it. Therefore, I wasn't as interested in it either. And the second one being, at the point I could be interested in fighters, I had satellite internet, which defeats any competitive thought of trying it. So yeah, I just never got into it. Kind of good at fighters. I would just consider myself a casual fighter, because I know some people are just crazy at it. Alright, so let's go with some dry brush. Just break up that blob of color up here. There we are. I know it doesn't look like much, but this stupid little bench, which takes up like 1/20th of this whole painting, I'm actually kind of really proud of right now. Pretty cool. What's the arcade? X-Men Fighter, huh? Oh yeah, that was also Capcom vs. Marvel was like a popular one at the time. And I love the sprite work. The artwork of fighting games is always actually really impressive. New modern ones, 3D, so there's not quite as impressive, but yeah. Foreign language and storms off. Well, you just completely demolished the guy, huh? Oh yeah, one I was fascinated in was Darkstalkers. I never had it, never owned it, but I love the character designs in that game. I guess I really just like the characters in some of those games. Okay, so how do I do this bottle? This bottle is kind of like the fire. Let's work with. Oh, that would get to, more yellow. Skip the bottle for now. Skip the bottle. Annoying bottle. But yeah, I tend to like aesthetics for the fighting games. It's like I think there was also I'm unfamiliar with it, but I think King of Fighters, I think, is one that had just some phenomenal work for sprite work. And they went through like an entire whole process of creating it 3D, rotoscoping it, and then scaling it down, and then cleaning it back up, and like something that took an amazing amount of work, and is a phenomenal piece of gaming artwork. But I didn't really know of it. Nope, 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 nope. Fair enough. Yeah, it's I can understand some of that, because some of it is, it potentially reaches a point where like you or a friend who's like very skilled at something continues getting better, but for you to, in order for you to get better than them, you have to do double time the work to get to the same spot, and you have to not improve at all to get to it, type of thing. So it just becomes a, it's a situation of finding out what's worth your time or not. Let's go with that. Let's work with some darker stuff here. Give me a second. Mixing browns. But I understand that feel a bit. My brother got that way with Smash Bros. Not entirely, but I could at least hold my own in a couple of matchups. He was definitely a more technical and skilled and knowledgeable fighter than me. I was more instinctual type of guy. Smash Bros is my most knowledgeable fighting game, if we're gonna go that route. It's anybody can pick up and play that game, and the mechanics are very intuitive to grasp. There's no like technical combo or like kill counter or anything weird like that. It's some basic concepts: up, down, left, right, and then differing standard butt, jab attack, and then special attack. That's about it. But then it gets really technical with other things. My brother, he also likes going with give me a sec. What? Okay, so for this bowl, right about cameras here. This bowl here. I'm trying to get that color here, but yeah, my brother, he would look into some like Smash Bros competitive stuff and learn about some of the characters. He wasn't about doing the flavor of the month, the current meta, but he was there learning about it. My brother's actually really good at finding oddball characters and making them very effective. Yeah, because he was using one character that he was working with was Bowser Jr. If you know anything about Nintendo or Mario series, it's Bowser's kid. Kind of obvious by the name. But he runs around in this magical cart. And he's kind of slow, and his attack's very odd, but he has a lot of potential if you set him up right. Alright, so give me just one moment. My brother liked looking and working at them. You are the base color. You are close. More. But he liked making oddball builds with less favorable characters, just because he liked giving it a shot, seeing how far he could push some of that stuff. Not to extremes, but just realistically, ones he liked doing and trying. Another example would be the Necromancer from Guild Wars 2. Deku. He made a this is, well, look up. He made a very tanky build of a caster. Basically, he does a lot of. This is not enough paint. He basically takes a caster and tries to make a fighter build out of him, or takes a fighter and tries to make a caster build out of him. Things like that. And he's actually surprisingly good at a lot of it. And I admit it's kind of fun doing things you're not supposed to and making it work. Because the other aspect is it really tosses off a lot of people who are used to cookie cutter builds and stuff. And actually Smash is actually really good at that. Taking unorthodox characters and making them really effective in very bizarre ways. Yeah, currently, I think the number one, or at least at some point, the number one Smash player is a guy called Hungrybox. I don't keep track of any of the fighting scene, but there's a lot of history with Smash Bros. Competitiveness. But the number one guy, he mains the character Jigglypuff, who is considered by most people, at least for the time, a very poor character, very bad matchup. Everybody always has tier lists for what characters are good, what characters are bad, which ones should be banned, and things like that. And Jigglypuff was always just kind of seen as potentially effective, but just really kind of meh or poor. Doesn't have much range. Doesn't have much effectiveness, and there's literally even a move where she falls asleep, which is actually one of her most powerful moves, crazily enough. Yeah, the move works, in case you're unfamiliar. You're Jigglypuff, a big old circle of pink, and you sit there and float, and if you can line the center of your body up with somewhere inside of their hitbox, like this is their character and this is your character, you have to line it up like that and be like kind of pushing inside of them and then fall asleep, and then you'll send them flying. But it's really hard to pull off, and once you do it, you're sitting there asleep for like 5 seconds, literally unable to move. So if you screw it up, you're then just completely gone. She's also a joke character in that the game has a shield ability. You sit there and hold a shield, and it's this big circle around you. And the longer you hold it, the smaller it gets, smaller it gets, smaller it gets. And if you just hold it for too long, to prevent people from just shielding forever and just blocking everything, your shield breaks, and then your character gets stunned. Jigglypuff is the only person to have this quality of, if she breaks her shield on herself, it kills her. It literally just rockets her off into oblivion and she dies. So that's the kind of character she is. But she was managed to be made the most effective, or at least able to beat the other guys. So yeah, she is sort of a joke character, but still an effective one. Yeah, then there's I know of the history of some of it, and like how some of the characters can get really meme worthy with how they do some of that stuff. If you've ever heard the phrase Fox only, no items, final destination, that's a Smash reference referring to Fox, is one of the characters, being one of the top tier guys because he can hit so fast. He can kind of like stun lock people and just move everywhere. And he's always on the move. He was a yeah, of the highest ranking competitive people at the time. It was Fox, Captain Falcon, Marth, I think that was it. Was an occasional, maybe Ganondorf? No, it was Falco. That was it. The Falco was the other guy, which was actually a mimic of Fox of sorts, just functionally a little different. So, yeah, and all those, what most of those characters had in common was they were all insanely fast, and could go and just mess up at anybody else. And so then all these like very fast, very heavy-hitting characters, and in comes this flying purple, pink, Jigglypuff. And you can see how that kind of like upset some people. It's like you're fighting with a joke character. But one of the neat things about Smash Bros. Is there's so much difference in a lot of the characters, that there's also one story of an upset of a professional player who used the character Yoshi, who everyone kind of agrees is a very poor character. Oh yeah, that was it. Sheik was the other one I'm thinking, not remembering. Sheik being a stupid S tier character. But yeah, Yoshi was very poor. He didn't have very many effective abilities, kind of weak, bit floaty. And one of the things about Smash Bros. Is you need a recovery ability. Instead of a health bar that you beat down to 0, you have a percentage that hits you further and further away. So you can technically still win the game at like 300-400%. It's incredibly difficult, but as long as you still manage to get back to the stage, you can still fight, which gives it its interesting level of gameplay. But yeah, this character was Yoshi, and he didn't actually have a recovery. Most characters have a recovery, a way to get back to the stage, a move that has some combat potential, but usually meant to be able to bring you back to the stage. And actually, Jigglypuff doesn't have one either. So Jigglypuff and Yoshi both don't have a recovery to get back. They just have another move in place that does something else. But anyway, this guy picked Yoshi and kind of blew away what everyone else thought of the competition. Renting on the 64. Yeah, that's it. I remember one of my initial introductions to Smash Bros. Went to a friend's house and they had it, and we played on the 64. 64 is apparently like a horrible version of the game. And they actually they didn't even have a side B moves. Yeah, they were like missing an entire section of movesets. But if you ever get the chance and you do like fighting games, because you seem to talk about them a lot, give Smash a try. There's currently it's Ultimate on the Switch. If you got a friend or something, give them a call out. Hey, welcome. I'm painting a rice bowl while talking about Smash Bros. Actually, you need to be up a little bit more. Not quite so angled. Alright, there we are. Hello. But yeah, Smash Bros. Is pretty cool, and it is one that, at its core, Smash Bros. Was designed mostly as a party game. You can pick up a game and play with your friends. but it's very, very technical. Or hell, if you want, just like look up some of the look at like the competitive scene for it. They get very impressive with how they do a lot of stuff. There is Melee, but that's kind of sort of a meme at the moment. Yeah, meme was one of the most impressive bits of the game, but game in the series, because it improved a hell of a lot on the 64 version, but it missed a couple of things. One being ledge guarding. In the Smash Bros. Game, you've got like a ledge, the stage here, and you've got a ledge on the side. And a lot of characters can sit and catch that ledge and then hang. So you don't have to make it all the way on top. You can get it here and still survive and pull yourself back up. Well, they didn't quite account for the aspect of people ledge guarding, which is the act of you send your opponent flying off the map, okay? And as they're about to make it back to place, you sit there and grab the ledge yourself, and they can't grab it because you're there, and so they just fall to their death, which is a really cheap way of winning, but it's very effective. They fixed it in later games where if that happens, you pop them off and then you grab the ledge and you can get back up. Much better mechanic. That's so cheap. Yes. That's why it's kind of unanimously agreed that it's an improvement that they took that mechanic out. And honestly, it was an oversight on their part originally, because they actually worked. Smash Bros. Melee was a launch title for the GameCube, so they had to rush it to meet a specific deadline, and they weren't sure if it was going to be a good game or not. And they also tossed in a hell of a lot of things into it, so there were a lot of aspects that kind of slipped under the rug. And any competitive fight you watch, you can notice they know about just about every one of them, like in detail, and they abuse the hell out of it. Yeah, there's another one called wave dashing that's only in the Melee version. I think it might have like some minor bit in one of the direct sequels to them. But wave dashing is, as I understand it, you can jump in the air. Smash is a 2D game. It's left and right. There's no third dimensional movement. But you can jump in the air and then use the dodge button, left, right, up, down, or kind of at an angle. The 8 cardinal directions. But if you do it like a short hop and then immediately dive into the ground forward, you could then do it again much faster than it. You can actually move faster than running doing that, while also being like kind of just floating on the ground, always ready to do something else. It's a straight up glitch exploit that the developers have stated was not an intended purpose, but it's a integral mechanic to the competitive of the Melee scene. And in order to do it, you have to do a short hop and dive back down and just continuously see characters just kind of like floating back and forth across the screen. It works, it's effective, but it's kind of that mindset of try-hardness. And that's kind of where I stopped having fun with the with games in general. When people start using exploits to get better, that's when you've lost. There is always something about like finding an exploit and then doing it for a joke with somebody. Check this out, man. Look how easy that was. But then you like agree with your friend. Don't do that. That's cheap. Like Hadouken spam in Street Fighter. Yes, it's effective. Yes, it works, but that's not fun for anybody. You can do it as a joke, and that can give you just. That's like one of the only exceptions for it. But if you're going with like Hadouken spam as your main tactic, and then the opponent finally gets back to you, and then you like switch to the side and then do Hadouken spam, and your whole technique is to do that to win, that brings out, that's not fun for either party. And it just brings everything up to a crawl. But in the sense of competitiveness, it's effective, it works, and it's easy to do. Therefore, they keep doing it because the competitive scene needs to be effective, and it's a different world. Yeah, I'm the same way. I play fair, and even to get somebody who's because if I was to go all out all the time, it wouldn't be fun and it'd be kind of stressful. So I play again casually, but I'm not beyond trying to push it further and try and go a bit better, especially with a relatively equal and or slightly better opponent. It's fun to go and like get fully into it. But as long as it's still within the realm of fun and fair, because like the spam, it's look at that, I won. Yeah, so I don't care. That wasn't fun for me. It wasn't fun for you. You just sat there doing the same move forever. Or like one of the techniques in Smash to win is generally it's a 3-stock count. You got 3 lives. You knock somebody off once and then run away from them for the entire match, and then you win because they weren't able to hit you. Yes, that's effective. Yes, that guarantees a win, but no, that's not fun to A, watch, B, play, or C, fight against. It's people are weird that way. Alright, so I need a little bit of shading on this rice here. Looks like it's just the tiniest bit. Or the OP player and keep using them. Yeah, it's stuff like that. Which is one of the reasons I kind of like Smash a bit. There are some overpowered characters. I named a couple of them. But with the current roster in Ultimate, there's some insane number of characters. And they introduced... Oh yeah. Minecraft Steve is now a character in Smash Bros. Which is really kind of crazy. Yeah, Smash Bros. Is now currently a game where like every Nintendo IP is fighting itself. So you have like Mario, Link, Pikachu, Fire Emblem characters, Wii Fit Trainer, and then in this new Ultimate they've got Pac-Man, Sonic, Cloud from Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy, Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter, Banjo-Kazooie, Bayonetta, Mr. Game & Watch, which is the old like pre-Game Boy dudes, Duck Hunt Dog, where the hell are we? Terry from Streets of Rage, King of Fighters. I'm not overly familiar with him. Joker from Persona. Hero from Dragon Quest. What the hell else is there? Min from ARMS. And currently Minecraft from Steve from Minecraft. It's just an absurd, absolutely crazy, absurd roster. And yet it exists, which is really incredible. It's just Oh yeah, and there was Sonic. Did I say Sonic? So like mortal enemies from the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo days are currently in the same game. Give me a sec. Yes, I've never actually played Dragon Quest. I know it's a thing and pretty popular, but I've never tried it out. I think the exception being some really odd Game Boy Color game I had a while back. I don't even know if I still have it. But yeah, it's it's been one that, especially currently, I've wanted to try again, try and pick up at some point. But I don't know. It's just, it's like one of those ones that it's always on your maybe list. It's like that looks like one that might be interesting to try, but I'm not quite sure yet. And etc. etc. Okay, so this is rice. I'll leave you be. Now I've got the meat, and it's actually misshapen slightly. You need to come here a bit more. Up a little. There we go. That's a fix. Okay. Now, how do I get those colors? Well, let's start. It's an orange for the bit over here, but let's start with the face colors. Yeah. Dragon's Lair. Oh, Dragon's Lair. Isn't it the cartoon animated video game where you like the entire game is a quick time event or some such? Yeah, no, they don't have him. I doubt they will anytime soon, because currently one of the prevailing aspects of new characters introduced to the game is it's got to make the main company money, so they're trying to make deals with currently profitable or relative games, and one like Dragon's Lair wouldn't be one of them. It kind of died out back in the day. I've never played it, but I have seen clips of that. It's hard not to. Alright, okay, so it's kind of skin color, but redder, but not. Okay, so let's work with alright, I think you might be the one to go for this one. How do I get that color? How do I get that color? I could potentially use you. Oh, let's go wider. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. This is a song that just kind of popped out of it. Yeah, but one of the really impressive and incredibly respectable things about what the creator of Smash Bros does is he gives as much credit to the characters he's working with as he can. Let me explain a bit. The guy's name is Sakurai. He's got another name, but I can't remember for the life of me what it is. And he is the reason why so much care is put into all the characters in Smash Bros. And why it is what it is. There it is. He has like the entire history of like any additional characters he's got in the game, or odd little bits and bobs like that. He puts the history. He put trophies and stickers and oddball extra stuff from supporting characters in the games. Like he's got Bomberman in the game. He has like characters and assist trophies and like other things to help make it flesh out the game a bit. But he put in all the characters, all the information, his backstory. He's faithful to the blueprint. Mega Man, that's another character in the Smash Bros. Game. So many I forget. With Mega Man, Mega Man's a perfect example. Mega Man, since the, I want to say like, probably Mega Man Battle Network or whatever the hell it is. Since his foray into the Game Boy era, Capcom hasn't done anything with the series. They just kind of abandoned it. And fans were asking for Mega Man, asking for Mega Man, asking for Mega Man. And then in, I think it was Marvel vs. Capcom 3? It was some Capcom fighter. They introduced a new Mega Man player. You could play as Mega Man, and everyone was really excited and really awesome. And then they revealed what Mega Man it was. It was the Mega Man 2 box art Mega Man, which was a fat dude with a pistol. So it's been years since Mega Man's been part of the series, and the fans have been clamoring for. See, no, that's too pink. Any information, something to help get the fans going and relative. And the thing they choose to do after years of neglect is ridicule the fan base and ridicule Mega Man. Yeah, that was the character they decided to add as a extra to the series. And fans kind of really let down. And that was from official Capcom, an official Capcom release from the creators of it. Then comes in Smash Bros. Sakurai put more detail and effort into the original, into the original Mega Man design. He put in like literally just about every single move Mega Man can do is an exact representation of something he actually did in one of his previous games. Like, I'm not overly familiar with all of them. I played mostly Mega Man 0. You dash around with a sword and stuff, not actually a gun. But Metal Blade, Rocket, Sticky Bomb, Grab, every aspect of his representation is in there. And then there's a move called a Final Smash, big ol' super move that characters can do. And for Mega Man, that happens to be you hit him with like a big old beam, and then it goes into a movie aspect, big old cinematic finisher type thing. All the other Mega Man characters that weren't just Mega Man, like Zero or like the Mega Man X or the other recognizable characters in the series, sit there and do a combined teamwork friendship beam towards the enemy and blow him away. So not only did he do everything he could to get Mega Man as true to form as he could, he introduced as many other Mega Man characters into the game as he was allowed to. And I think Mega Man was actually a free character. Yeah, you buy the game and Mega Man is introduced with it. It's no extra DLC, no extra pay to win anything. A base character to the game that like that, and like that's how much care he puts into the characters that are introduced to the game. It's one of the reasons I respect a lot of it. But yeah, and then you have Capcom who introduces Mega Man 2 box art as a playable character. It's Yeah, not quite the best of times. What the hell am I doing? Oh, I guess that'll work. But yeah, it's weird. Weird times we live in. And then you get into all the copyright bullshit that messes things up. But yeah. And then there was the introduction of Banjo-Kazooie, which is part of my childhood, and I'm really glad that he's in the they are in the game now. They may not be the best character, but they've been represented incredibly well by the guy, and I will actually really forever be thankful for that. One of the other things is when the characters get introduced to Smash Bros, there's the hope that the characters get a resurgence in relevance, such as like they might get a new game again, which would be really cool for all of them. And that's exactly what I was afraid of. Alright, so get more white. Tail that up a bit, and then give it back to the yellow. So it's maybe there's something that might come of the game, maybe there won't be, but it's really cool that they got back into the game again, or brought back somewhat. There we go. Pretty close on the coloring here. Yeah, it's all this grid work that's actually really causing some issues, but I can work with that. But yeah, it's you can keep. I don't keep up with any of the Smash Bros playing, because the most I did in recent times was when I go to the game store, waiting for my family to get off work so I could pick them up, or having to sit there and do a download in town because we weren't able to do it here, something like that. And like some of the guys would bring in their game console, and we'd sit there and play a few rounds while we wait to do shit. That's honestly the most I've done in a long time, because I can't do internet. Might be able to do it now that I think about it. Could maybe pick it up again. But yeah, it just, I never had an opportunity to do a lot of that stuff. And it's, you know, that's kind of a weird thing about society nowadays. Not to go in differing directions here. But, okay, just a sec. Yeah, I'll do that later. But it's kind of weird how just the evolution of you can a bit. I can at least give it a shot, see how it goes. But, yeah, I might actually do that. I might actually do that today. Just bring out Smash Bros and see if I can get back into it again. Might have to get the new pass in order to play against Minecraft players. That's gonna be a hell of a thing. Because currently it's one of the things I pay more attention to than any current meta condition or any drama or stuff like that. Well, I guess it is drama. Is currently, because Nintendo has quite literally opened the floodgates for anybody to be in Smash Bros. Everybody's just screaming and hollering that their favorite character is gonna get in. I was hoping for Banjo-Kazooie. I didn't quite believe it could happen because they're owned by Microsoft. That would have been a weird thing. But since that happened, let me just rephrase it. Nintendo has currently made deals for a single game with Square Enix, Capcom, Sega, and Microsoft, as well as Atlas of Sony. And there's some more I'm blanking on. Some of those characters have overlapped, as well as Dragon Quest, which I think they might be Capcom. I can't remember. But yeah, they've made deals with just about anybody now, and so anyone can get in the game. And people are tossing out their favorite characters from some bizarre Konami. That was it. Snake. Yeah, Snake from Konami. If you're ever interested in really technical, absolute control of Battlefield, watch some Snake gameplay. He's crazy. Here, in case you're unfamiliar, Snake, Solid Snake. He has a move C4, which is insanely able to be abused. You plant it on the ground or plant it on a person, and then you can remote detonate it later. It gets used to insane effect. The Snake can get blasted off the stage, and he tries to hop back, and then one of the mechanics is if you do a special, your recovery move, and then get hit, you can do your recovery move again. You can keep trying to come back. Well, with C4, you can hit yourself with it and then recover again because of it. So he gets blasted off the stage, blows himself back up onto the map, and then you blast him off and he blows himself back onto it. And it's retarded but awesome to watch. And you hurt yourself to get you back into the game, to get back onto the stage, do all sorts of stuff. And then he's tossing like grenades and rocket launchers and planting more bombs, and then just the entire field is blowing up whenever you watch some of those matches. The Smash is a fun game to watch. I don't get that competitive or that crazy, but it's fun to watch some of that stuff. But yeah, one of the things I pay attention to is the crazy. Get out of there. People who have gotten. If you've ever seen like sports fans, our team's better than your team sucks. Multiply that by 10 for the people who are so devoted for the characters. Yeah, this one character was in a Nintendo console 5 years ago in a 3-second scene. That character is definitely getting in. Bullshit, you're crazy. No. This character from the original generation NES, they have the better shot of getting in the character than your character. Oh yeah, bullshit. No, guys, you gotta understand. Master Chief from Halo, he's definitely gonna get in. No, guys, Doom Guy. No, Kratos from God of War. And just, it never ends, but it's just so fascinating to watch. And one of the recent ones was Steve from Minecraft. Minecraft was such kind of a joke character, it logistically could make sense. It's the most best-selling game ever. It's owned by Microsoft. You could potentially see it, especially since Banjo-Kazooie got in. Steve is definitely going to be in, guys. Steve is totally going to be in. He's famous from all the kids. He's got such an interesting moveset potential. Blah, 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 blah. And everyone's like, no, he's Minecraft. And it got so heated and toxic at times watching these people argue about whose favorite game character was going to get into the game. And they start insulting everybody. Steve's gonna get in. No, screw you guys. No, this guy's gonna get in. Screw you guys. And back and forth. And it's just, that's some of the stuff I'm interested in. It gets horribly toxic at times, and I ignore that bit. But it's fun to just sit back and watch these guys just argue about the most crazy things. Apparently one of the crowd favorites is a kind of a sidekick character from the Kirby series, which doesn't really have much of a skill set, so I understand it, but it's like, oh man, he'd be cool as a character. Maybe? I don't know. But you've got people arguing about Doom Guy and Halo, and then like a 12th Pokemon in the game. Goku, Toad, just the most absurd guesses ever. Alright, so that's the main face there. I've got orange there. How do I get that color? How do I get that color? Sorry to just completely divert on you like this, but how do I get that color? Brown? Let's try that. Let's try brown. Let's try brown. Okay, so. But yeah, it's a Leisure Suit Larry. Oh god. I'd say no. I know my dad actually played some of those games with. Yeah, they got a new PC at one point, and like that was one of the games, and they just spent the day with everybody there just trying to play that stupid game. They make silly stories about it sometimes. I'd say that's not possible because Nintendo is a family-friendly series, but they have the character Bayonetta in the game, who is definitely not a family-oriented character. And technically, she is. Oh no, her game was all blood and gore and shit, so she's not a family-friendly character. So Leisure Suit Larry isn't out of the equation, but he's incredibly unlikely. Cause yeah, the biggest ones to completely upset the whole game about who could get in there. It used to be Smash Bros was only Nintendo characters. The original one was, let's see if I can name the original 16. Luigi, Mario, Pikachu, Samus, DK, Captain Falcon, Ness, Fox, Jigglypuff, Yoshi, Kirby. I'm missing one. What the hell am I missing? Ness. Did I say Ness already? No. But yeah, so those were the original characters in Smash Bros. And then they had Melee, an improved roster, but they're still all Nintendo characters. Fire Emblem was the new one. They were still technically Capcom, but they were on a Nintendo system. So all the original guesses of characters were Nintendo based. Then Brawl came out and introduced Solid Snake, which blew up everything. Now anything is open. Okay, so but as long as they were on a Nintendo console was the requirements for it. And so people were saying, okay, well, what about this guy from this Nintendo console? He was originally there for the Game Boy Color, but then the series took off from the Sony PlayStation or the Xbox or whatever the hell it was. And so the theories went crazy at that point, and people were still trying to figure out what functions, what could potentially maybe be in the game. And then Smash 4 and Ultimate and all that came out and introduced characters that were from Cloud, Street Fighter, Mega Man, and Bayonetta. And Bayonetta cracked open the floodgates because now it wasn't only just family-friendly characters. You could have R or mature-rated games come into the series, and it went downhill from there. And now that Minecraft Steve is in, there is no limit to who can be in the game. So Leisure Suit Larry, although unlikely, is still potentially possible. As crazy as that seems. Alright, there we go. That's actually a decent mix-up. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Making a decent brown here. Or orange, what have you. But yeah, so, and it's fun. And again, like I said, watching the progression of like people react to who the hell's gonna be in the game. Not right. That's not right. Decent base color. Decent base color. Fix it up later. Fix it up later. But I enjoy watching people just freak out about all this stuff. And I myself have taken part in some of the freak out about the actual reveals. But it's just cool. Some Silent Hill character. Potentially, man. It's a Triangle Head. Triangle Head. No, wait, he's Resident Evil, isn't he? No, I can't remember. But yeah, just the gloves are off. Just about as off as they could be, in a realistic sense. One of the main restrictions currently is it has to be a likely profitable business sometime soon, or a very long-standing crowd favorite. Because the dude making the game isn't the only one has a say in the matter. Is there Brawl games on Steam? Like a Brawl clone, or because I know Brawl itself is a Nintendo only system. But it's a fun little style. Ukulele. I fucking know who that is. Why the hell can I not remember that? All I'm thinking of is a stupid instrument. I know that character. What the why is my brain not working lately? Ukulele, stupid, chameleon bat. Okay, that's why you used the wrong spelling of it. I think it's Y-U-K-A. But that would be an impressive combination. Wasn't that a Kickstarter? Yeah, and an indie game? I never actually got that game. I had high hopes for it, but it kind of fell through. I can't remember specifically why. I don't know what it is, but alright, cool. I'll take a look at it. See if I can learn a bit more about it. But I don't know what it is about Kickstarter. It has so much potential for good and so much potential for things to just truly succeed, but it often falls flat in its face for the most dumbest of reasons. And I don't get it. It's like you have a golden egg. People are willing to spend thousands of dollars on your stupid, silly idea, and you decide to be a complete asshole about it and ruin the entirety of it for the rest of it. It just... why? And again, I can't remember exactly what happened with Ukulele, but it fell through for some reason. I can't remember why. I didn't pay too much attention to it. Maybe I should give it a shot one of these days. If I can find it like on sale or something. Yeah, it happens a lot sadly. And then on the flip side, it's really crazy how then there's ones that are like just the dumbest idea, and people pay thousands of dollars for it, and I still don't understand why or how. And hey, I don't know. Two games came out. Two games came out? You talking about the Brawl thing? I'll check it out in about 10 minutes or so. That's gonna need some more coats, but good enough. You know what? I got some time. I'm gonna try and paint the band here. Just trying to fill that out just a little bit more. Well, to be fair, I actually have played occasional games with RPG Maker. I find them in weird links online. I couldn't name you any of them, but some RPG Maker's games actually have a decent amount of charm and passion put into them, but most of the time they're just absolute shit. But yeah, it's I just have to say I have run into a couple that were pretty decent. Most of them are just absolute garbage though, and I will not deny that. Yeah, it's just shit. But you have to admit, the ability to make games more accessible and more easier to make for people is a good thing. Because when I started doing programming work, when I first started some of this stuff, I looked into the programming aspect of making a video game, and everyone kept saying, or working with, make your own system, and then you know every nook and cranny of it, and you can design it a bit better. Either people were saying that, or I thought it, can't remember. And so I was trying to make everything from scratch. It took forever, and it never worked right, and I couldn't get things to go the way I wanted to. I knew exactly how it all worked, but I didn't know how to make it work. And so I've seen a bit of the talk of more modern times of how a lot of things nowadays, like Unity or Unreal Engine, things like that, instead of making your own 3D rendering program or what have you, just take some of the readily available engines and use that to do your stuff. And at that point you can make it further on. And yeah, I gotta admit, that's the way you kind of have to do it now, especially for a indie developer. If you started making a game from scratch, you'd have to kind of start at like the base level of like NES era programming to then like progress, well, maybe Super Nintendo for like the 2D stuff, but you'd have to start at square one and reinvent the wheel, and it would just take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and no guarantee that it'd be any better. When other things are out there, but can already get you halfway into a car when trying to invent the wheel. So it's so I do admire the fact that RPG Maker and Unity and a lot of those are out there and make gaming possible for a lot of things. And the game, yeah, I tried making some of that stuff too. It can be. It's like you get like all these ideas and they just get like really intricate and like more and more built on each other. There's one game I've had a concept for, and it quite literally is a spiritual copy of Majora's Mask because that's one of my favorite games, and it's like the only one I know of that has that mechanic built into it of the 3-day time cycle, where what you do changes other things, and then you go back in time and redo stuff. And I had the concept for a game where the main premise was a alien character gets crash landed on this planet, gets cursed, and gets stuck in a time loop. That was the main plot, MacGuffin, whatever. But I had the concept of, instead of just having the 3 days, you could change the time, so you could go 1 day further and get things going, or one of the main ones was you could gain control of the curse and go 1 day further back. So like one of the concepts I had was character plants a seed, you help some person plant a seed, and you wait like the 3 days to try and get it grown, and like on the third day, well, just come back tomorrow, it'll be one more day and it'll be just perfect for you, and you can't physically do it because whoop, you get ported back. So in order to do that, you take time 1 day further before you got there, start it that way, and you could extend the length of the time. I think that would be a interesting mechanic and whatnot, but as you can see, nothing ever came of that. It's still a concept I'd love to see and would probably, I don't know, I'd like to see it done sometime, but I don't realistically see it happening without a lot more stuff going into it. But yeah, you can get all sorts of intricate designs and puzzles and like layouts for shit. I've been there. I've had a lot of stuff that went into it, but found I didn't like programming. I could do it, but didn't like it. I was getting over ambitious with a lot of that stuff, and so it kind of just set by the wayside. I still always have this. It's still there. I doubt I'll ever do anything with it, but it's still there. It's an idea that may or may not come to fruition. Alright, so you are very pale dark red. Let's go with you. Yeah, let's go with you. Okay. Give me a sec. Working with some color mixing here. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about when things get really intricate. I didn't really get much more beyond some of the possible quest lines or whatnot in that game. It's not right. But yeah, it just gets really intricate and really out there. It's not quite right, the color. That's the pale color. Let's try and get it back into the darker color. More. More red. Sell the script. Oh, cool. I probably have mine sitting around somewhere with the ideas and concepts and shit. Looking back on it, a fair amount of them were pretty kind of silly and stupid ideas. Not all of them. I actually did have some good ideas. And that game was one of the, you know, I should do that one of the days. But I made a few character concepts for that game, and I really do like a lot of the characters. Some of them are unique. But yeah, it's like some of that stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, it's like one of the things I like doing was going into the nitty-gritty details about like how something would work if it could work. That's not right at all. Give me a sec here. Not too far off, but it ain't right. But I had this one idea for a character, rather. And I've got a I think I've even shown some of the artwork for her I've made. But she was very that could have worked. I just needed a coder. I needed more than just a coder. Well, what kind of game was it? You're talking about puzzles. Was it like an RPG type thing? Or puzzle-oriented stuff? Yeah, what kind of game was it? In the meantime, it's like... You know what? Where is it? I know you're around here somewhere. Where did all my art things go? I'll find it. Maybe I'll show it tomorrow. But I've got somewhere around here my art stuff, which that's the first time I remember it being in a weird place. Point and click, like Clock Tower. Oh, those aren't overly complicated to code. They're still odd to code, but as far as gameplay elements, you don't have to make like a combat system or something. But when I think of point and click, honestly, I think of more so Putt Putt goes to the zoo and like Secret of Monkey Island, Guybrush Threepwood, and the like. But you know, if you still have the script and you're still willing to go with it, you could potentially find a coder on Fiverr. You can find just about anything there. There's probably somebody you could like hire to do a bit of coding for you. If you got it all done and mapped out, you could do it. Hell, you could bring it up on Kickstarter. See if that might take. You never know. If you've got like all the stuff designed and ready and like laid out, you could at least give it a shot. Alright, so that's not bad, but not right. Yeah. Oh. You know what? Where'd you go? That's not you. There you are. Well, but it is 6 o'clock, so it is you. You. The color I need. Oh, is that why? That's why it's weird. I use brown instead of black. But yeah, I plan. Well, I had plans to use Kickstarter as a main business point. Let me give me a sec here. I've talked of it before and quite honest, but I should bring that Kickstarter right up. Draw as well. Try not to do projects that involve people either. I can understand that. I've been there, but I'm finding more and more that you actually really do kind of need people. Why This paint is being silly. You need people. You just really do. No man is an island, I think is the quote that gets tossed out. And it really is true. Hell, like, for instance, right here, right now, if I were to do this painting on my own, it would not be nearly, like, far and above anywhere close to like it is sitting here talking to you guys. I would not be doing this without other people. Well, I would not be here without other people. I still would be doing painting and stuff. And don't, are busy. Yeah, there's that. And I don't know how to get quite around that other than lucking out and finding the right people. I don't quite know how to do that, but you do need people. And that's where, like, hiring somebody to work for you might work out. It was honestly that is honestly what I've run into. My whole endeavor of trying to do programming, trying to do art, trying to do anything really, always fell through. It did not succeed because I was on my own, trying to do everything on my own. You look at any project, any commercially sold project, other than save a few, like Undertale, which was made by like one guy, but that was a very simple kind of game. They're all made by teams of people, maybe a couple of them, but it's always teams. One dude may be doing a lot of the pushing and heavy lifting, but it's always a team effort. It's also one of the reasons I'm going to Texas for people. I'm going there for others. Well, so I can find other people. Anyway, that needs to be a darker color. That needs to be the black. Anyway, so it's just the question is, where do you find them? How do you find them? I don't know, but I'm trying to figure it out myself. I'm going to be going to Texas, hopefully for a more art-oriented community, trying to find people with a similar interest, things like that, and try and be in a situation where the communal view is, because I'm going to sign off soon, but you can have like people who work with you, but aren't quite fully invested in it. It's like, yeah, I could probably do that in a couple of hours, I guess, if I feel like it, kind of people. I've kind of been there myself, sort of. But when you're in a group project and everybody is also on the same page, that is exceptionally or exponentially more powerful. And that's what I'm trying to shoot for, personally. Because like if you get people, it's like, hey, I've got an idea for a thing, and you're surrounded by people, okay, that's cool. It's disheartening. It's like, but I want to try and work with this idea, but you've got no one to share the idea, bounce something off of. But then you get into a group of people and like, you share an idea, hey, I've got an idea, oh, that's awesome, what if you did this, oh, we could do this and this. It's like, yeah, and then, oh, I've got a friend, let me bring him in. And you start getting people who are invested in the project and the prospect of whatever it is, more so than reluctance to work with you. It's a shift that's really important. I think I found one that's off. It has to be angled a bit more. Yeah, this has to be lifted up a bit. That's what it is. Okay. Sorry, I'm just noticing some oddball stuff. But anyway, that is going to be it for me. I got decently far. I'm pretty proud of this bench, as silly as it may seem. But, doing some flat coloring, I guess. I'll work with it. I'll get it better. I'll keep going. But tomorrow is going to be Higurashi. I guess I'll try and work on this in the background. I might do that. Yeah, anyway. Take care, guys. See you later. Thanks for the chat, and have a good one. It's thanks for the chat. It's like I just said, it's I wouldn't be here without you guys. I work a lot better with people. On my own, I can do things, but it's not as effective. Even if like just somebody to talk to, someone to bounce an idea, just mindlessly chat about most mundane of things. It makes a difference with people. That's what I personally, my own philosophy has come to. Anyway, that's it for today. See you later. Bye bye.